Hey there drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley with another vlog update. This week I've got a couple of really cool topics I want to discuss that I think you'll find interesting. The first one has to do with the recent TFR, or temporary flight restriction, that was issued by the FAA a couple of days ago. And this TFR came out as part of what's called a NOTAM, an NOTAM, or Notice to Airmen. That is a mechanism the FAA uses to keep pilots informed about areas they should avoid when they're flying. And this particular TFR has to do with military bases and the restriction of quads flying over or near those military bases. And in that TFR they called out 133 specific bases that are now prohibited flying zones for quads. So you can't fly over them, and you can't fly within 400 feet of the outside perimeter of that military base, a 400-foot lateral distance away. And I did get a lot of inquiries this week from you guys, a lot of questions about does it apply to all quads or certain quads or just quads with cameras, and it really is all quads. So if you're flying a quad, this applies to you. Don't fly there near the military base. And a lot of you were upset about it. I got a lot of feedback about, hey, this is, another government overreach and they're limiting our airspace and what's going on. And I don't agree with that. I really don't. As a flyer that respects the rules, I think the FAA does a pretty good job of balancing our enjoyment of the hobby with the national security issues that are going on right now. It's a very sensitive time for our country, and I really am surprised the fact that there isn't a no-fly zone over military bases in place all the time, because it's a sensitive installation. Not to mention the fact that they've got the bullets and the rockets and the missiles, right? So me flying my drone over there, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Those two things don't mix. So the fact that they put it out as a temporary flight restriction, maybe they'll relax it later, maybe they won't. I don't think it's that big a deal, so I wouldn't worry about it. But I would worry about it if you're going to violate it. And I mean that because if you read through the TFR, normally those TFRs talk about the FAA specifically and its remedies for going after knuckleheads that violate those TFRs. This one talked about the FAA having jurisdiction, but it also mentioned the federal government was going to get involved. So that's not something you're going to fast talk your way out of. So if you've got this hankering to go fly near a military base, just understand that it's a very serious thing. This applies to all quads, and it probably applies to any military base near you. But again, check below. If it's not on the list, you can take your chances. So for me, I'm just going to avoid it. Now I'm preaching to the choir. I know you guys are responsible flyers, and when a TFR comes out, you're going to respect that as a reasonable pilot. But if you hadn't seen it, or you're not subscribing to the NOTAMs and the TFRs that are issued, I just thought I'd bring it up so everybody's aware of it. So that's all I wanted to say about that. The second topic has to do with a cool technology that all of you probably have seen if you've watched the Super Bowl. So if you watched that last Super Bowl halftime show, you saw Lady Gaga before she launched herself off the top of that stadium. Behind her was a swarm, I don't know of a better word for it, but a swarm of quads. And they were flying in different patterns with different colors, and it was all controlled by Intel through Intel's Shooting Star system. And as an engineer, I am blown away by this technology. And you're going to start seeing it more and more, because Intel's already talking to theme parks and amusement parks. I know they've talked to Disney about replacing the fireworks show with this type of light show with these quads. But again, as an engineer, I look at that technology and I am just completely blown away by it. I think about the engineering behind making quads aware of other quads in their airspace and acting in unison, and the coordination involved with the pinpoint accuracy of knowing where those 100 quads are at any given moment, and having an intelligent controller that can talk to each of them and have them do certain things to sort of break apart and get back together and create a pattern, change colors. It's just mind-blowing. And I guarantee you that nature's got that figured out, right? If you've ever watched a swarm of bees from a distance, you can see them flying in unison, and they're not bumping into each other. Birds are the same. They fly with grace through the air, they swarm, and they break apart and they come back together. And that's always enchanted me. As a kid, I was blown away by it, and as an adult, I don't understand it any better, because I know for a fact that if I took 100 human beings and put them in a group and tried to march them in the same direction, we'd be bumping into each other. It just wouldn't work. So the fact that Intel has figured out through technology a way of autonomously controlling 100 drones is incredible. It's just so incredible. I know there are other companies working on it, and there's probably other software companies working on ways to do it. I think you're going to see more of these things coming up. I know Intel has bragged about taking the 100 drones and making that 1,000 drones, and to me, again, hats off to you guys from a technology perspective. So I'll keep an eye on that, and I'll update you if other things change, but keep an eye on that Shooting Star system, because even though the drones themselves are not that sophisticated individually, as a group, it's just magnificent, and I'm just blown away by it. So that's all I wanted to say about that. The next topic has to do with the reviews that I do on the channel. Now, you guys, if you've watched the channel for a while, know that I fly a lot of different drones, and I've kind of focused on the high-end drones as far as my reviews go. And I've had a lot of people ask me, well, gee, Rick, I've got a son or a daughter that wants to get into quad flying. I've got a cousin who, maybe he's a little goofy, and we want to get him a cheaper drone to start until he gets better at it. And I don't really talk a lot about the less expensive drones, even though I fly a ton of them, and I fly them on a regular basis, especially in the wintertime where I can't fly outside. I have a lot of less expensive copters that I'll fly in the house or in the basement just to keep my stick skills up, and I don't really review those. And I don't want to flood the channel with 50 reviews a week of a bunch of different things, but a lot of people have asked me to start taking a look at drones that are $300 and less, $200 and less, $100 and less, $50 and less. And I think what I'm going to do is start doing some reviews of those quads, just so you guys have a lot of choices when you're buying a quad. Maybe it's your second quad, or maybe it's a quad for your kids. If I don't do those reviews, you'll not have a feel for how those quads perform. And obviously they're not going to be as sophisticated as some of the more expensive high-end quads, but they've gotten so good with improvements into less expensive quads over the years, with height hold. Some have GPS, some have cameras in them, that I think they warrant those kind of reviews. So over the next couple of months, you'll see me start to work in less expensive quads, maybe quads that aren't even name brand quads that I just find a lot of value in for the money. So expect that coming from me very soon. I may also expand the channel into other areas. I've had a lot of people ask me about, when you make YouTube clips, what kind of equipment do you use for your YouTube clips? What kind of camera, what kind of microphone, what kind of editing software? And I've kind of avoided that because this is really a drone channel, but I know a lot of you are doing clips, and maybe you've got questions like I did when I first started about what kind of equipment is best to use and how expensive is it and how do you do this kind of thing. So I may start working those in as well. Leave me comments below to see if that's something you guys would find value in. I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to the people that are subscribing to the channel on a regular basis to give you all the information you need. I promise you that I've got a lot of extra time on my hands, so I could definitely work these clips in around the quad clips that I'm doing now. So don't think if we do these kind of clips that I won't do the quad clips. I'm going to do all of them. So just leave me some feedback below on if you think it's a good idea to do the less expensive quads, and if you think it's a good idea to talk about some of the other technology around how I create these videos, and I'll listen to the crowd at that point. The next thing I want to talk about is a concept that I think you're going to see coming in quads. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I've got a clip I'm working on right now. It's a pretty detailed clip on what I think the Phantom 5 product can look like. Now, I have no inside information on this. I'm just like you guys. I'm waiting for announcements when they come out. Been a lot of scuttlebutt lately about new drones coming from DJI. I'm not going to comment on that because I feel like until we have more information that's concrete, there's no point in talking about it. But I do like to predict things, right? So I think for sure there'll be a Phantom 5 product coming somewhere down the pike. And I feel like they've done a phenomenal job with the Phantom line. And even though they've got the Mavic line, the Phantom line, the Inspire line, and the Matrices, or their industrial drones, I think the Phantom line is definitely going to survive for a lot of different reasons. And I've got some predictions around what technology may show up in the next Phantom. One of those key technology, I think, is going to be the interplay between the remote controller and the quad. Now, they're using OcuSync today for DJI's products, and they're using Lightbridge technology, Lightbridge 2 technology for the Phantom products. And those are technologies that were developed in the labs at DJI. They're fantastic technologies, but they do have limits. And they do have maybe transmission issues sometimes when it's a noisy channel because they're kind of in that Wi-Fi band. So what I think will happen, one of the technologies I think will show up in their quads very soon, is a cellular connection. It's not going to be that big a deal for a drone manufacturer to add a SIM slot on that quad that you could pop a little SIM card in that would communicate over 3G or 4G with the nearest cell tower to actually handle the telemetry and the video streaming. And I know it's going to be a lot of information, a lot of bandwidth, but I feel like it eliminates that distance limitation that you have now with either Wi-Fi connectivity or some type of Lightbridge technology. So I would not be shocked at all if drones coming very soon, including probably the Phantom 5, will have a SIM slot. You can pop a card in, activate that, and then through your controller, control that drone with a much more resilient connection through there. Other ancillary benefits of having a SIM card in that quad, one of which includes the fact that I've now got a beacon to find the drone. So if that drone loses its mind and it flies off over the horizon, I can pinpoint within a couple of inches where that drone is sitting based on its beacon through that 4G or 3G network. So I think both a lost drone would benefit from it, and I feel like the rock solid telemetry of you controlling that drone from your controller with much more resiliency would be a good thing. I also think the FAA is looking at relaxing or eliminating the visual line of sight restrictions on certain drones, maybe only the high-end drones where you've got crash avoidance, you've got first-person view. So as we increase those distances you can fly with visual line of sight, eliminate it, then maybe this cellular technology will give you much more rock-solid connection for those long-distance flights. So anyway, I'm watching that. We'll have to see if that prediction comes true or not, but for me, from an engineering perspective, I think it's the next logical progression in the communications technology with these drones. And I've seen a couple of systems sort of sneaking out already that use a cellular modem through a connection to a quad that allow you to do it as sort of a homebrew project. I have to believe that these drone manufacturers are looking at that, and I wouldn't at all be surprised if it shows up in the Phantom 5. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is last week on the vlog, I talked about a giveaway, and a lot of you were fans of that. And the reason for the giveaways isn't to build, channel subscriptions or to, you know, to be this this game show kind of an environment. That's not where I'm coming from. With me, the giveaways are all about me doing a ton of reviews on a lot of different products, and I can't possibly use all those products. So rather than have those products sit on a shelf someplace collecting dust, I thought, let me give back to the community. So a lot of the stuff that I get to review, either stuff that I buy to review or people send me stuff to review, I want to make sure that I give that back to you guys. So this week I'm going to do the first one of those giveaways. Now, I'm not a professional at this. I'm learning as I go. So this one's going to be a little bit clumsy, and there's not much mystery over here. You probably can read the top of the box. But the first product I'm going to use in the giveaway are the Lodlo glasses. Now, I did a review on these VR goggles a couple of weeks ago, and I think they're fantastic goggles. You can use them for both augmented reality, VR reality with your phone. You can put it in virtual reality kind of things, and you can use them to fly point of view, FPV, with your Mavic or with your Phantom using your phone and the Litchi app. But they're a great little set of goggles. These were sent to me for review. I did the review on them. I like them an awful lot. I feel bad keeping them because I have other VR goggles I use, and I have a Fat Shark set of goggles. So these are going to be part of the giveaway. It'll be the first giveaway we do, and if you look below, there'll be a link where you can actually put a subscription in and you know, apply for that giveaway. And again, you just have to basically like us on Facebook. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be great, but there's no mandatory need to do that. But if you do subscribe to the channel, you'll get a lot more information from us on a regular basis. It'll be easier to communicate with you. But these are beautiful. They're about $100 value, brand new. And again, they were only used for the review. Maybe I wore them once or twice when I was out flying with them before I did the review, but I like them a lot, and they're a really decent set of goggles. So check that link below. I'll have the winner notified directly through email, and I'll also mention them on the next vlog we do. And I'll try to do this maybe not every vlog, but every other vlog, or maybe twice a month, or you know, some regular cadence so you can expect when these things are coming. But that's our first one. So that's the Lodlo goggles for the VR. The only other thing I wanted to mention was this week I got a fresh supply of Mavic batteries in from DJI. These are factory fresh, factory sealed batteries, and I thought, let me do, as part of this, sort of an odds and ends thing. I got a better deal in these than I normally do on batteries, so I wanted to offer these up. If you guys need batteries for your Mavic, there's a link below where you can get a $5 off coupon to actually go to our website and buy them and save a few bucks on the Mavic batteries. I know springtime is here, people are out flying, and I love having extra batteries and blades with me, so just another value there. So if you need Mavic batteries, hit that link below, hit the website, you can get a $5 off a deal on those Mavic batteries. And that's pretty much all I had for today. So again, I'm working hard to get these clips done for you on a regular basis. I'm trying to keep them interesting. I'm trying to give you a little diversity in the topics I cover. Hopefully you find this stuff valuable and interesting. And if you are, please give me some feedback on that. Thumbs up are always good. If you haven't subbed the channel yet, do that, because we do a lot of updates through the sub mechanism that allows you to get notifications when we put new clips up and things like that. I also have a Twitter account, and I've got the Twitter address over here. If you sign up for Twitter, you'll get deals from me that are going on. A lot of manufacturers we work with will give us discounts for our subscribers and our fans, and I put those out through Twitter. So if you subscribe to Twitter, that'd be good as well. That's pretty much it for today. So thanks an awful lot for watching, and as always, happy flying.